So I am based at NHS Education for Scotland. I work within a team called the Digitally Enabled Workforce Team. A few of you have already said, you can probably tell my accent isn't Scottish, but I've been based in Scotland for some time in this role and working across the health, social care and housing sectors. And within this particular team, so the Digitally Enabled Workforce Team, we deliver on a programme of work called Building Digital Skills and Leadership, which is designed to do pretty much what it says on the tin. So it's how do we develop those workforce skills around digital and digital leadership right across that workforce in Scotland. And Scotland has very much taken a national approach to this. So these are some of our key kind of national drivers to this. So we've got our health and care strategy, our data strategy now for health and social care, and our current delivery plan. And in all of these, digital skills and leadership is a priority area. We also have a governance board, our digital capability board, which is there to oversee the strategic intent of these policies. So we know, and we all know, we want a health and social care system which is there, that's going to be able to support safe and effective and efficient care in this digital age. And we know in order to do that, we need a workforce with that capability and confidence to use data, information, technology effectively as part of their roles. And this logic model, which you can just see on the slide, identifies 8 elements which we feel we need to get right in order for that to happen. And our delivery plans are very much based around these. Of course, we know there are lots of challenges in trying to deliver a national programme like this. Some of these are listed on the slide. So things like, how do we establish that baseline of digital skills across a complex sector? And then how do we go about identifying those skills gaps? How do we work so we're not duplicating our efforts across the sector? So how do we really coordinate our resources so that lots of different organisations aren't all trying to produce the same things? How do we reach learners at all levels, again, across a complex sector? They're geographically dispersed across Scotland, and they're also working in lots of different organisations and types of organisations as well. And how do we then make sure those resources are accessible? And finally, but not insignificantly, how do we get senior leadership buy-in to what we're trying to do? And how do we make sure those who are most senior in our organisations, how do we make sure those people are thinking in a digital way as well? So to address some of these challenges, so this is the national programme that we have. As part of this, we're very much working with stakeholders and other organisations across the sector to help us to identify those current and future workforce needs and ensure we're really meeting the needs that people are telling us that they have. And so we can be responsive to those. And really, we're about developing, delivering, collating, and crucially kind of centralising those learning resources which are out there and which are being developed. And I'd quite like to just give you a flavour of some of those resources that have come about as part of this programme. So we have now a digital and data capability framework, and you can see here it's about identifying the skills, knowledge and behaviours that are essential for this workforce. It is purposefully designed to be applicable to all roles. It comes with a self-assessment option to help both individuals and organisations to actually identify their strengths, but also crucially their gaps. And you can see it's split into 6 capability areas. I doubt any of these will be particularly sort of unfamiliar. And within each of those domains, there's 3 levels. So ranging from kind of low to basic skills right through to expert capability. We also have a set of learning pathways, and these are really to help people to understand what is the role of digital in health and social care. There's 4 pathways. Again, they're designed to be applicable across the sector, but they are aligned to different levels of responsibility. So the Explore pathway is very accessible to all roles. The shape pathway is really starting to be designed for those in strategic decision-making positions. And within each pathway, there's a set of resources, but also a set of specific kind of asks and activities. So people can take those resources, actually reflect on them and think about how does that apply back to me and my organisation. And going back to that challenge around how do we get things in one place for learners, how do we improve their user journey? And so the Digital and Data Resource Hub is trying to bring together the plethora of learning materials, resources, programs, training, which is out there for this workforce to make it more user friendly and searchable for people. We did do quite a bit of user research around how people currently learn their digital skills, what they'd want to be able to have and do in the future. And part of that was about having a kind of single point of access. So what we've done, we've taken a whole host of free to access resources and we've put them in one place for people. They've been split and categorised based on those framework capability domains. And we've tried to provide some upfront information for learners as well, like what is the resource, what's it trying to do, what's the format, how long is it going to take me, just to make it more searchable and easier for people to access. And we do expect this to really kind of develop as well. This is using an existing platform that we currently have and have access to use. And then really crucially, so what really came to the fore for us during the pandemic was just how important digital leadership is in both driving forward workforce digital skills, but also in driving forward any kind of digital solutions, improvements, and ultimately transformation. And for that reason, we've got a leadership offer for every level of the workforce, right through from those most senior in our organisation, sat around our board tables, through to all roles. So at that kind of board level, it's very much about how do we build their digital mindset? How do we make sure everyone around the board table is taking part in those conversations around digital, breaking down some of those traditional silos around, digital's for IT, for the IT people. So it's very much around mindset. We also have a postgraduate programme which is delivered by the University of Edinburgh. And this is really about developing the next generation of leaders who are going to drive change. So our current and aspiring senior digital leaders across the sector. We have a really kind of broad digital health and care leadership programme, which is designed for that sort of next level of managers, but also people earlier in their careers as well. And quite uniquely with that programme, we also accept teams. So really kind of recognising, it's teams that drive change ultimately, and, the importance of that multidisciplinary, multi-professional approach. And then we've got a whole host of other resources available to anyone looking to develop digital leadership skills, including a network as well. And again, that's about trying to get people to collaborate across organisational boundaries, professional boundaries, across the sector. And I just thought I'd share this with you as well. So this is the logic model specific to our postgraduate programme, so the master's level programme in leading digital transformation, being delivered by Edinburgh University. This programme in particular, so every single module has been co-designed with subject matter experts and organisations across the sector to make sure we're teaching the skills that people need. And what we've got here is the kind of short, medium and long term outcomes for this programme across those 3 key themes of leading digital transformation, collaboration and networking, and building that leadership talent pipeline. And our first cohort started in March last year. So we're starting to see some of those short-term outcomes. And just to highlight just some of our other national kind of networks, programmes, resources that we have. So we're very, very aware of the importance of that specialist workforce. So our KIND learning network, so KIND is for people in knowledge, information and data roles. Very hard to kind of tell you what all the titles of that, you know, all the different job titles which fall under that. There's a huge number. But this is it's a community of practice. It offers training, learning, peer support. It's now got over 3,000 members as part of that learning community. We also have a digital champions network, and this is very much designed for people in organisations to help them to build their own digital champions networks, really kind of recognising how valuable that can be in developing workforce digital skills within organisations. And then we also have a national resource around Microsoft 365. It's pretty much how we kind of run nowadays. So really kind of crucial that the workforce know how to use you know, the apps that they need within that platform. So there's things like updates on services, how-to guides across all the different Microsoft 365 apps. And we're seeing about 18,000 users access that hub each month. And we're continuing to open that up across the whole sector as well. So we expect to see those figures increase. And then finally, just to end on, most of our resources are open access. You'll have seen a few QR codes as I've gone through the presentation. This one will take you to our sort of central landing page, so you can go and have a look at any of those things in more detail. But I've popped our email address on there as well, because we'd be delighted to connect with you, hear what you're doing, and share more about what we're doing as well.